Super. Hello, everybody. So really nice to see you all here. Hope that the intersection was really interesting for you. So now you're coming to even more interesting track here today. So we're going to have a lot of interesting people. And first of all of them is Necmettin from Turkey, from the sunny Istanbul. I'm not going to go into very deep about his personal experience, but you will all see that he is super passionate about Agile in general. He's mentor, he's training, he is studying PhD, so he's really into going in depth into Agile. So his topic is from Agile to Agility. Hope that this will be interesting, so I want to give you the word, Necmettin.
Nice introduction, thank you so much. Welcome. Yeah, I think it's very challenging after, the keynote speak to keep you, still alive and more energetic. So I think, yeah, you will like, liking this because I think it's very important. I think it's so much similar to the speakers told us today. So, yeah, I'm Necmettin Özkan from Turkey, and I'm doing my PhD in Agile. So, also I'm working as an Agile coach and as an IT process quality team leader in a bank. So I think the first time I met Agile is around 1914 when we are dealing with Agile transformation in a bank, which was the biggest Agile transformation in the region, in Turkey and in the surrounding countries. By the way, I learned a lot of information and knowledge. I got many knowledge about this transformation because we are dealing with the Agile experience, which is very different from the comfort zone of the Agile. So it's not the green field. You can see easy transformation for the Agile, but rather very hard and challenging, especially in the regulated environment. So after that, I have also another experience in my current company, working as an Agile coach. So I think I can tell you that I am in the middle of the practice and the theory, which puts me somewhere like balancing. So I am not eager to sell something, or I am not an evangelist of something else. So I am in the middle. So I don't get money from Agile yet. All right. So yeah, the topic is a little bit broad, right? It's very hard to be comprehensive for this topic. So I will try to touch many points, but unfortunately a little bit fast. So you can stop me and you can ask some questions, or you can give your feedbacks during the presentation, after 7 days or 7 weeks or whatever. So you can reach me and you can ask me any question, because it will be a little bit fast because the topic is very broad. Okay, let's start from here. So this is the basic. We can we need to know to understand and comprehend all the stuff here. So I think we have at least 2 different versions of Agile. So the first one is Agile with lowercase a, which means that we have agility already in our blood, in our body, in our nature, since from the Big Bang, right? So this naturality is very powerful, very pure, and we are dealing and using this kind of agility mostly unconsciously, like in our usual day. So we are responding to change all the time and every time. So every day, in a usual day, a usual person can make thousands of decisions and based on the feedbacks from the environment. So there is no problem here, because this is the perfect agility, and most probably given as a gift by the creator to the creatures. So here, yes, here every person also can have their own perception of agilities. Okay, so we have millions of different perception agility for many of the people. It's okay. And some of the people can try to transform this pure agility and perception for agility to another platform, like a concrete form, like describing some values, principles, and practices. So some of this practice can be packaged inside the method or something like that, and some of the people can prefer to have their own customized and tailored practice as well. So the thing is here, we have perfect agility here. But when we are moving towards the this side, right side, we have decreased agility at some point because we cannot transform all these capabilities inside our organization or processes. So at the end, maybe we have maybe 20% of the perfect agility here when you are using some sort of practices. So briefly, yeah, I have perfect agility out of the office, and we have limited agility here during our office time, so we want to transform our perfect agility to the real agility. So what we are doing here is, I will tell you that we are doing continuous planning, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous adaptation, and continuous. So I just want to make something like raising my hands, so I am just deploying this. Within milliseconds, right? Amazon does it in 3 seconds. I am just doing, and you are just doing in milliseconds level. So it's continuous, not like, fragmented progressing. It is continuous. So the magic is here, it's like that. So, okay, after this introduction, I want to introduce you a special version of agility, which is Agile trademark. I think most of you may realize it easily because it comes in a form of product, right? So it's like a pencil, or it is another thing like, you can buy from the market of Agile. So you can just choose any of this, and you can just try to implement it as it is. Because most of the consultants prefer that. So when I say that, consultants, maybe some of you are here are consultants, I am not referring to you, they are somebody else, not you, okay? But anyway, so it is easy to make good profits because you have massive production and industrialization. You don't need to change something, you don't need to adjust something. You can just copy and paste, and in a waterfall-like way for the transformation. You do apply a kind of bulk changes to the organization at once. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know, after, something like that. So we are trying to implement Agile by book, and because, these books are mostly well-known and they are proven. And this is good for, for the consultants, for the seller side, for the buyer side, it's risk-free. So they can just tell you that, okay, I made a decision, but I choose the best Agile method. So the failure is not my responsibility. Okay, I'm fine. And taking some risk can be, challenging. Most of the organizations, decision makers. So the problem can be deeper, especially when we regard Agile as a holy product, okay? Maybe you can realize this picture, and, this happens especially we don't too much dare to criticize or to change, to break the rules of these holy books, okay? So we just, try to be inside these walls, and we are just trying to, repeating the events or everything like a mantra. So there are some wardens and there are some gurus. Mostly they are the inventors of these holy things. And the gurus are, enjoying their, position, like, advantaging of, making the followers depending on them. So at the implementer side, okay, maybe they are also, happy because, it is easy and it is possible to be a master after 2 days training, yeah? So if you are, some junior or some, senior person, but you cannot be master of within 2 days, with this kind of, power, you can be a manager, or you can be master at the end. So you can understand this case easily, when you ask somebody else, like a question, as I did. So I remember in an event, so one guy was presenting something about, how to be effective about, especially in the distributed Scrum teams. So after the presentation, I asked him whether, which one he prefers to perform. So let's say you have an interruption in your production. So you need to, take some actions to, recover the things. At the same time, you have the sprint, daily sprint, let's say. So which one do you prefer to do? Okay, guess the answer? Yes, he said, I will do sprints, okay, stuff. So because, customer is not the God. So they are just trying to be, belonging to someone else, which is maybe bigger and, holy, to, I don't know what is the reason, but I think it's just because of the psychology of the people. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at, the Agile Manifesto, which is very, very famous. So here, regarding that, I want to ask you, which one will be more valuable to you, airplane or a car? Which one is more valuable? Okay. Okay, which one? It depends, right? Depending on the context, right? So if you want to travel 10 kilometers away from your point or your home, the car is better. If you want to sell and get money, airplane is better. If you want to do something, which one is better depending on the context? So the right values and left values, which one is better depending on the context? Both, okay. But the problem here is that, is there anybody here representing any kind of value like that? I haven't seen any kind of representation of the value like this one. Have you ever seen? Good thing and good thing. It says like that. Good thing and good thing. Better, less better, okay? We cannot do that because, when we do that, our brain ignores one side on behalf of its benefit because it wants to consume less energy for its benefit. So most of the time, we ignore the right side because of our brain trick. Our brain can be friend to us, maybe not. So we see less effort on the right side. We cannot see so much talk about agile processes, tools, documentation, and plans. So this is a trick, right? So it's not a good way. So it's not a good way to express something like that. Good car and airplane. I like cars. I value cars over the airplane. It works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes. So we cannot know that. And also there are some kind of problems here because, the last word here is completely, not completely, but somehow wrong because, we are trying to respond to change even when we are planning and planning and planning every time. Okay, I will give you just an example. So I just want to cross the road, okay? I just plan to make a step. I just plan and implement it right now. I took action, and I just look around the road again. I adjust myself accordingly, and I took another action. And before every action, I need to make a plan. So I am just planning to what to speak after 2 or 3 seconds just now. So planning is the only way we can make a bridge between now and nature. There is no another way. So plan is our friend, okay? So the thing here is that we have 2 ways loop between the plan and actions, like, crossing the road. So we need to make a plan. We need to adjust the plan. So So plans are our friend, but it must be in continuous base. So if we are following the plan blindly, that one is wrong, okay? So there are some, there must be some rereading about the Agile Manifesto, even though most of the Agile Manifesto writers don't think about it anymore, because, we know that from an interview conducted with them, and they don't care about the Agile Manifesto anymore. So they don't want to change anything about the Agile Manifesto, rather than, just the replacement of software with the solution, because software is domain dependent. So they just want to expand all this to other domains, and they just want to change it. But now, even now, we have some sort of, misusing this Agile Manifesto because of, you can have, a definition based on something very bad. Planning, tools, if you are bored of planning, documentation, if you don't like them, okay, come here, okay. And you can create a momentum to sell the agility by using these things. So it makes this situation worse and worse. Okay, even though we have some, issue like here, the simplicity is essential even for agility, but the definition of that is not that one. So you can imagine the airplane again. So you cannot remove any part. I don't dare to remove any part from the airplane, but it's not simple, right? It's complicated. Simplicity is different. So as we learn from, our pandemic time, the efficient way for communication is not face-to-face. For the face-to-face communication, you need to spend too much time. You need to, cost everything like that. And every change is not so good, especially if it endangers your sustainability of the system. Okay, the only king is not the customer, right? We have also system, and system is the king as well, because without a proper system, customer is not the king. So we need to maintain the sustainability of the system. So the changes coming, at the late stage of the development can be dangerous for the system sustainability as well. So we need to balance everything together. So just you can imagine that, every time your friend coming, at the 3 a.m. to your home as a guest, you say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Is it possible? You can just imagine that. Okay, let's go back to the, method side. As you see, okay, yeah, this is the verse from Scrum. So I just made a connection between them. So we are dealing with too much with the Scrum processes, the processes side. So it is like, it's a sign of something like prison. If you want to deal with too much with the process side of the Agile Manifesto, you will be less focusing on this part as well. So yeah, how we can understand, we are in the method prison. So if we cannot think beyond the method's walls, and if the method is so much monolithic, not modular, and not designed to be reusable, and incompatible to mix and match, and if you don't think to change the walls, most probably we are colored with something else, but we are still inside this wall, and these walls can be funny at the first time. Okay, first we hate them, then we got used to them, okay? And after long enough, we get and we depended on them. So as you remember from this movie, Shawshank Redemption, so it is very possible to be inside a method prison. So it's a kind of illusion. It is easy because, easy is another value we can prefer to other things as well. Okay, so there are some other problems with, Agile trademark. One of them is the trade-off, but these trade-offs mostly are avoided, or neglected, because of, keeping the product as holy. So we see some selections here, and let's say we have static iteration. It is good for, making people run and run, making people as motivated. But it is also comes with some kind of problem, because towards the end of the sprint, you can maybe have some sort of problem, especially for the abstract thing like quality, because quality cannot be seen by the customer, but the product can be seen by the customer. So you need to show the product with too many quality decreases inside. So this is just because of the static iteration. So you are supposed to show something at the end of the sprint. No way, right? So there are some trade-offs if you want to select that side. Let's say we have decentralized teams good, but without the governance layer, as you see in the beginning of this day, this decentralization can be very, very much challenging, and you need to deal with that. Okay, there are many things, then many selections, but we need to think the both sides. So selecting the right car also means that you didn't select the blue car. So we need to aware all of these selections, trade-off, and advantages and disadvantages. But we should, keep ourselves away from this holy product effect. So one of the examples that I can give about the trade-off, cross-function is nice, but to be a cross-functional completely is almost possible, because you cannot include every part to be complete, right? Because complete is also a relative thing. You can be complete now, but tomorrow you need something else, you need someone else, and you cannot find him in the right place, and you are not complete. So complete is very relative and very challenging. And if you say your team is complete, you are giving them an illusion, so they can just focus inside the team, not outside of the words, like in China, right? Okay, they are doing everything they want to do, because they have already everything, like a cross-functional team. But when they do something here, like carbon emission, so we see the problem all over the world, climate problems or something like that. So we need to think globally. So they are cross-functional, but the problem is universal, so because there are much of the dependencies like that. So if you don't have a governance like Philippines, and if you say that, okay, teams, you are self-organizing, you're cross-functional, you can do whatever you want, you have also some other kinds of problems. So you need to think about the whole things together to have a complete and comprehensive picture for the team. So self-organizing is nice, but it's not easy, as told in the morning, because, as human, we have started our life as self-organizing, right? So today is what we have. We have bad managers, we have wars and everything, because when deep inside, after the fractals and fractals and fractals, we see this yin-yang. We have bad side and good side. So you can just, imagine yourself just self-organizing in a meal. Let's say you want to have a meal not more than you need, but you eat more and more, because we even cannot self-organize ourselves. It is not easy task. So we have many of these here inside the team, and it's not an easy task. And when we scale up to somewhere else, we have more participants, like regulations and governments and other dependencies and everything like that. So self-organizing easy, but it's not important, but not easy. So just giving the empower of the teams in terms of the self-organizing is just the beginning, like the beginning of the life, like happened 1,000 years ago, and we are still dealing with this issue. So another thing with the Agile, okay, Agile is something like teenagers. So it's it tries to ignore something like that. This part, the main characteristic of this part is that they are good, but they have cold face. People don't enjoy it. let's say, processes, discipline. So if the people don't enjoy it, okay, I don't want to take them, and I just want to put them all these things away from the Agile, okay? And another thing is that even though we have some sort of, let's say, project management layer, like Scrum, which can be used for construction project as well, and software development project as well. Okay, it's fine, but when we go to, a lower side, we need to have technical aspects as well. So we need to have technical agility, how to write the code in technical way, and how to have the, all this stuff. But we don't talk too much about this technical agility. So maybe you can just look at your agenda, and you can see the talks today, and most of the people are talking about the management layer of the projects. So yeah, there are some fancy things here that can bring some kind of advantages to Agile, so they just take it. Even though they have some kind of problems with quality and lean with the Agile, because they are different, and they can conflict with each other. Let's say if you want to be Agile, you need to have some sort of quality issue as well. And lean is different from agility. And if you want to be Agile, you not to be lean, because agility is not so much efficient. It's much more effectiveness. So, okay, yeah, there are some sort of paradise here. I don't know if there is anybody who is not, who doesn't agree with one of these, but I just want to show some of them. Yeah, if you want to follow the, Agile processes, even though we have some kind of context variations, which can be million of, according to our case, so we are probably, ignore the fourth value, respond with change. So we are just trying to literally following the plan of Agile processes. And these processes, part of the agility, can be also conflict with the first value of the Agile. So yeah, Agile methods also can let the team self-organize, but as a practice, and at the same time by imposing some practice as individual whole. So it's not fair. So yeah, no matter who, a manager or Scrum guide, authors dictate the daily Scrum within 10-15 minutes, right? So we have another parts inside our Scrum teams. They are the writer of the author of the Scrum guide. So they are inside our teams because they always telling us, you should do, you should do, you should do, you should do. They are invisible, but they are there. So yes, Scrum can be reflective somehow, but when you want to break the, the rules of Scrum, Scrum says that it is not Scrum. So you can check the version of 2017. So we have some kind of deadlines, and because of the fixed iterations, and the planning in Agile can be very sharp and rigid way. So as I said before, so we have launch of changes, especially for, the transformation of Agile, which is very against to the, experimental, iterative, and incremental development nature of agility. So, yes. Any questions so far? So when you see something like that, you can maybe recognize that this is Agile, brand, not the real agility. So I'm just trying to be, clear to make you aware of this kind of thing. So let's look at some other parts, how we can, recover ourselves to be more agile and agile. So yes, let's go to basics. So as you know, Agile, I think most of you are so much familiar with these concepts, but I just want to remind you, yeah, Agile as the other adjective is a kind of adjective, right? We cannot sell agility at once. So it's not something like that black and white. Even the waterfall methodology is agile. You can just ask somebody, it happens after 6 months. the level of agility is very low. But it's still agile, but, you know, the degree of agility is very bad. So we just want to make sure that we are on the way to the more agility. So you cannot be agile. It is impossible because it's like, you know, being happy. How you can define to be happy or good person? There is no end. It's a journey. So if the consultants want to say that I want you to be agile and I will do it for you, you just, you know, run away from that place. So, yes, agility is like something like that. As an elephant, I have agility 1 kilo, but as a cheetah, I need 10 times more than that. Because, you know, every organization has a unique characteristic, and agility should be according to that. So we need to pay the money for this agility. It's not so easy task. Being happy, right? We need to pay the cost of that. So agility is not the only good thing for the organization. There are still some kind of good other adjective, even though they don't have any kind of advocators. The problem here is that there are many events and advocators and evangelists about Agile, but not for these things. So this creates a kind of, you know, biased situations and circumstances for, you know, our sector. All right. Yes, as a, you know, kind reminder again. So we need to start from the left to right. So we need to get to understand the Agile mindset first and towards the new practices. We need to keep the mindset first, not from this way, from that way. Also, for the other domains, we can have other kind of practices and values and principles. It's very possible. We cannot use the same value and principles of software development to other domains. Yeah, it's not a good way. Okay, so context and context and context. As you see in the morning, so we have the context and we can have Scrum bot, Kanban bot, or whatsoever bot version of agile methods. It's okay. So it means that we are on the right track. So even the Agile Manifesto has their own context. To, you know, read the Agile Manifesto again, you know, in a good way and the right way. We need to revisit Agile from this window. Yes, if we want to, you know, do something according to that, literally, the best way we can reach is something in the head of someone else, not more than that. So rather than that, we need to, you know, we need to break all these good practices like this one, independent one, and we need to combine them together according to our context. Because agility calls for that, you know, very name of the agility for the methods as well suggests that the methods should be easily adjusted to suit environments. Yep, agility is everywhere. So let's start, you know, let's revisit this thing. I know most of you know that. And yes, I just want to give an example. So we have time here. It's very simple. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Okay, if you want to measure the time with the clock, it's complicated. But the same thing here comes a little bit complex if you are talking about the future. Future is complex. We don't know. If there is someone here who knows the future, he will be not here because he will be rich, right? Okay, so the thing is that how we can manage these things. So let's say we have something very complex. So we can put some simple rules to decrease the complexity. Okay, like in the football game. If you put some lines, you can make sure that the football player cannot go to other countries and come here again, yeah, right? It will be right there. But there will be still some complexity remaining. For that part, we should, we should empower the people, not other things. Because, you know, the complexity requires for another complex system. And this level of complexity comes only from the people, not from tools or something else. Okay, the best thing, I think one of the most best way to master something is through hierarchy philosophy. So at the first stage, yes, we can do Scrum or Kanban if you are, not mature and if you are the beginner or something like that. Or if you are, still beginner but you have some expertise, you can just start from somewhere between here. But at some point, you need to break the rules. Yeah, this bullet is not, for me, so it hurts me. So you need to fix something here. At the end of the day, you can have your own rules. So you can be another Spotify or something like that. So I think this is the good way, and this comes from the Japanese as well. So there will be some other, thing I want to remind. Focus on the people and principles on something like that, and continuous continuous planning, continuous everything, continuous, deployments to be more organic management. So yeah, value stream from one end to another, from customer minds to the, production environment and after the post-implementation, every stage, not only for the development stage. All right, so we should avoid the strict and static entities like, strict teams or strict time frames like sprints or something like that, isolated and fragmented teams. So because, there will be some kind of emergent dependencies and we need to manage them dynamically. And we still need some kind of cross-functionality at some level, empower teams and self-organizing teams as much as possible. So we can use some swarming, something like that. We can just form our teams around the customer requests. And this project can be also cross-functional, working like lightweight scaling methods. And it works for also hybrids and homogeneous teams like Waterfall and Scrum. So we can use the digital capabilities of this era. And also, we need to have direct customers, like in design thinking, rather than putting a proxy of the customers, because it's impossible to have all these things for inside the mind of a person. So we need to focus on the effectiveness as well, because most of the time here and there, Agile is being used for efficiency. And it can be also, doing something for the, development of some wrong project. But it is more crucial to have the right project at the beginning and starting to work on that afterwards. And yes, I think, we need to consider a balancing act between conflicting, dynamism and dynamics of, our life, like freedom and responsibility and continuous learning and iteration pressure, localization and globalization, holistic view and strong self-organization and stability and adaptation. So I think, we need to consider everything. We need to find our balance according to our context. Yep, as said by some, at least 3, of the Agile Manifesto authors, Agile is already dead, yes. Because every product has a dead, because it goes to definitive ends, unfortunately, but agility is with us because we need it as happening in our life. Without agility, we cannot live. So we need agility because we don't need something that's. All right, so these are the references if you want to visit. And this is the paper I wrote about this concept as well. If you want to reach this paper or another works, mostly academic works, you can just Google me with the scholar edition. Okay, I think that's done. Yep. Thank you. Any question?
Don't be afraid to ask. But actually, I have one question from our online viewer, Miguel. Very interesting one. So be ready.
Yep.
Is Agile turning into the monster it promised to destroy 20 years ago?
Yeah. If you regard Agile as a product or holy product, yeah, it is unavoidable to see something another monster. Yes, but yeah, we need agility. We need agility, and we cannot ignore these requirements for the organization. So we need to find our way. At the end, yeah, we need to find our way by making some kind of knowledge sharing and something like that. Yeah, I think there is a tendency to see another monster, but we will kill him.
And what is your favorite thing about Agile and agility?
Favorite?
Favorite.
Thing.
Sorry?
Favorite what?
Favorite thing about Agile.
Favorite thing, right? Okay.
You mentioned one that you're not a fan of.
Yeah. Continuous planning and continuous something like that. We need to write. Okay. The favorite thing is that, from my point of view, we have already agility in our daily life, in our natural life as living creatures, and then we can imitate and we can be inspired by this. You can integrate some parts or some principles from this word to our word. Yep.
Anybody brave to ask a question? Okay, yes. I'll bring a microphone.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Gintaras. I wanted to ask you, so if we are operating in a complex world and we want to optimize towards agility, so we are as agile as possible, does that go on the cost of predictability? Because we are changing the environment as much as possible, but it means that our even short-term planning is losing.
Yeah, predictability is, I think it's a desire to know something in advance, right? So we cannot know that. So a way to be predictable is to go with these small steps and small steps. Yeah, when you can imagine in crossing the road, you need to be predictable, but you cannot make sure. You cannot make sure your predictions are accurate, right? So you want to make small steps, and you want to get feedback from your environment. So it's like to know that you are not a god. So predictability is not needed by God, but for the human beings, we need to continuous planning, to have adaptive and to be adaptive and to make because of we cannot make perfect predictions. We plan everything and it happens something like that. So we need to do something in a human way. Okay, yeah, something like that.
Thanks.
Okay, anybody else? I see no hands left,
thanks.
so
thank you for listening.
Need to thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So please, people, just follow the Menti QR code and leave the feedback. Okay, we really truly appreciate that.
Thank you.
And we're gonna have 5-minute break and waiting for everybody to come back. Thanks.